서울 한국에서 좋은 아침입니다.
Senior brainwashes in
Okay,
Korea.
we are, that's true. Ready, go.
Ready? All
Hit
right.
it.
Well, welcome to the After Hours show. We now take you live to Seoul, South Korea.
Good morning. This is Joe Seoul in a soggy, free South Korea. Welcome. This is the After Hours show with the Autonomous Collective. I'm joined by Ann Lee, a retired college professor and a community member of the Daily Coast. She's a member of the National Council of Independent Scholars and is a contributor to the book, The Political Economy of Art, Making the Nation of Culture. Oh, finally got it out there. Too many raindrops, very soggy. We're also joined by a resistance fighter to the north, Walter of the North of 48 podcast. Welcome, Walter. Hello, everybody.
Thank you.
Hello. We got you there, Walter.
Yes, I'm here.
Maybe I need
Thank
to
you.
get back host here. Hold on. Let's see. All righty. There we go. Excellent. It's all yours. Yes. So I'm Sam's Kitchen once again. So I will, in lieu of not having a kitchen, I'm going to the belly of Seoul, or the stomach of the city, which is the Jungjong Market or Seoul Central Market, which was established post-war around 1962 to help feed the city. This is the south entrance. It's a massive complex of streets and alleyways selling fresh vegetables, meats and fish, and all manner of products from restaurant supplies to clothing and many fermented products and many things that I have no idea what they are. I thought I might stroll through here, try to find breakfast, maybe sample some traditional Korean street foods. If anybody sees something they'd like information, just speak up and interrupt, and kindly, of course, kindly, uh, very respectfully, if you should interrupt. One thing I've learned in Korea is how well behaved everybody is. Not crossing the street unless it's green. It's unbelievable. It's so unbelievable that I cannot understand why anybody could even imagine the need to implement martial law like the previous president Yoon had done for approximately 6 hours last month. It's so in order. It's ridiculous. It rivals Singapore. However, yesterday was the verdict by the Constitutional Court. It set down that they were either to uphold the impeachment that was done in December, or war to reinstate the president. And thankfully for South Korea's democracy, the impeachment is going forward, and he'll be relinquished of his duties, and he will be facing some future court actions, potentially treasonous, capital punishment offenses. Not sure. I've been spending time trying to see some of the cultural sites, like the various palaces, the past couple of days, but all of the palaces and museums have been closed due to the potential for quote unquote violence of the population. They're so concerned, in fact, that the streets were lined with police coaches as far as I could see around the justice, the constitutional court, and also where the palaces are. They rolled out approximately 14,000 police officers, which from all of our roaming around and the protests we've seen, far outnumber the protesters by an order of magnitude. So it's really a stark contrast to what they were expecting and what was actually happening on the ground. I tried to do some interviews. My non-existent Korean and the help of Google Translate was not really helping me because a number of, particularly the counter protests or the anti-impeachment groups, confused me more after speaking to them about what the hell's going on. So apparently, the Democratic Party of the Republic of Korea wants to get rid of the liberal democracy. They feel that China and North Korea have infiltrated the government. The protesters have even taken on the "Stop the Steal" slogan from the U.S. And you'll also see Korean flags and U.S. flags at the same time on the same flagpole. As a callback, what I was told is that they appreciate the support and help during the war and after, and continued support. But I thought that was a very odd reality to still. I was almost expecting to see Israeli flags as well.
Hey, Joe.
So it was a very uneventful constitutional crisis that was just totally relaxed. So very unusual.
Joe,
Historic. But, yes.
can we get you to go up to somebody and say, "Where are your nuclear vessels"?
Ah,
Would you do that?
ah.
Or better yet, you're nuclear.
You'll have to be patient, Walter. I cannot cross this line. Fear of large fine from the Seoul police. So the market is just opening up. It should be a little sleepy. We'll start roaming around, and I think I shall turn it over to my co-host. Walter, will you take it away?
Sure. And you stay safe there, and you're in the South Korea, not the North Korea, right?
We're fairly south of the DMZ.
Okay. Well, Joe,
Stone's throw.
we'll be checking in on you again. So you just heard from Joe, the cook. He's out looking for he's a Canadian agent right now, looking for weapons to so Canada can buy, which we're probably going to need. And you're going to have Ann Lee will talk to us probably about tariffs more than Ukraine today, Ann, or what?
Well, about the same. They're pretty much the same problem in some ways.
Well,
Except Ukrainians don't have penguins.
that's true. I thought we'd start off with a good news story.
Luigi.
Luigi's back in the news. And part of it is his lawyers really come in tough, the one in Philadelphia. And I have a guy, this guy, he's going to explain a little bit about it, okay? And if you're following it at all, you can on Status Quo with Jordan Cheriton and Real Nathan Daly. They have been doing a phenomenal job following the story. So 1 second here.
That his client will have to attend the hearings in person. Now, let me read to you right from the badass certificate he filed. And now, the 7th day of March, 2025, pursuant to this court's order of February 14th, 2025, the defendant and his counsel hereby certify the defendant does not consent to appearing for any future court dates by use of two-way simultaneous audio visual communication pursuant to some Pennsylvania statute. Defendant further believes and avers that he has a statutory and constitutional right to be physically present at all pretrial hearings as protected by the 6th Amendment of the United States Constitution, as well as Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth. Now let's go to the supplemental amended omnibus pretrial motion for release. Part 1, a petition for writ of habeas corpus. What is the badass saying? He's saying, hey, you didn't make a prima facie case. You're holding my client unlawfully. Then he goes into a motion to suppress everything. He goes into that. Then he goes into another motion to suppress the warrantless search of the backpack, bag, envelope, containers, computer chips, and other property purportedly belonging to and or to be in the possession of the defendant. Then what's he file? He files a motion to suppress the DNA. Yeah, here's what they did. Oh, hello, LM. Would you like a Coke? Here, have a Coke. Yeah, he drinks the Coke, then they take the DNA off of it. You know what the badass said? He said, you arrested him unlawfully? That's called fruit of the poisonous tree. Then he goes through a number of motions to quash everything, saying, look, you're holding my client unlawfully, you didn't make a prima facie case, and therefore all of the charges in Pennsylvania should be dismissed. And then right here, this is a motion to suppress the search warrant. There are 2 search warrants issued here in Pennsylvania. Yeah, bet you didn't know that. One is 12/10 of 2024, 12:17 p.m. Now, I'll tell you all about prima facie another time. And he says this is not a Franks hearing, and I'll explain to you what a Franks hearing is. But he's saying you didn't have probable cause for the motion for the search warrant on 12/10, and there was another search warrant on 12/9. He's going, you didn't have probable cause for that. Then he files the motion to suppress any statements allegedly made at the arraignment. He's saying, look, my client invoked his 5th Amendment right to remain silent. And anything that these police officers say he said, he invoked his right to remain silent. That should all be a suppression.
Yeah. So basically they're saying it was an illegal search and seizure at the time that might throw out things. Now, I think for the TAC group, we can all admit that killing is bad, right? Killing's bad.
Yeah.
No comment.
Okay. Pam Bondi has suggested that this fellow should be, he should be killed. We've seen Rittenhouse get away with murder. We've seen a whole bunch of people get away with murder.
Walter, did you want to correct that? It's killing the wrong person? Is that how it works?
Who was the guy who on the subway in New York who was excused?
Luigi.
No. The guy who
Bernie Gates?
strangled a guy in a train.
Well, in times like this, when everybody's confused, you need a song, right?
All right. Do it.
There's an office and a building and a person and a chair, and you paid for it all, though you may be unaware. You paid for the paper, you paid for the phone, you paid for everything they need to deny you what you're owed. There ain't no you in United Health, there ain't no me in the company. They ain't no us in the private trust. There's hardly humans in humanity. Now the procedure that you're needing ain't the cost-effective route, and only 2% of people end up winning a dispute. So if you get sick, pray to God for help, cause your doctor's gotta pray through United Health. Way back in 77, Mr. Richard T. Burke started buying HMOs, putting federal grants to work, made 50 billion buckaroos. Last year, the Warren Buffett of health, the Jeff Bezos of fear. Now CEOs come and go, and one just went. The ingredient you got, bake the cake you get. But if you get sick, cross your fingers for luck, cause old Richard T. Burke ain't giving a fuck. Commoditized health, monopolized fraud. Here's the doctors we own and the research we bought. They own the pharmacies and a lot of the meds. They should start buying graves to sell us when we're all dead. There ain't no you in United Health. There ain't no me in the company. There ain't no us in the private trust. There's hardly humans in humanity. There's hardly humans in humanity.
That's Jesse from he's on YouTube. He's pretty good guy. He's got quite a few songs. There we go. We'll get that off there. So Anne, it appears to me that you're in the Penguins today, right?
Yeah, but I like that musical interlude there. I mean, it reminded me that there always is a Group W bench in reference to Arlo Guthrie. Anyway,
it is
Alice's
yes.
Restaurant.
You got her, yeah. And when I have a couple hours free, I'll listen to the whole song again. Alice's Restaurant. Let's talk a little bit about.
I don't know. We don't have penguins here, Walter. But how about the fermented skate wing?
I don't see the wheels. Where are the wheels?
Let's put
There's
you
no
on
key.
here. Let's put
Wait
you
a
on
second.
here, Joe. What you got going here, Joe?
Fermented skate wing.
Oh,
pickled fish.
That's not fluke. No, it's not fluke, is it? What's it called? Skatefish?
Skate.
Yeah.
Skate. Right.
Skate, like in roller.
Right. So is that in North America's fish and chips? No, that's tilapia. Yeah. So it doesn't look like something I would kind of eat there, Joe. Just saying.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little challenging, that one.
Yeah. It's a little bit like cilantro of fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of cilantro, I haven't come across any cilantro since we arrived.
That's surprising.
Lots of greens. Lots of pickles.
It's not surprising at all, really, because there's no such thing as cilantro.
Well,
Coriander Joe.
Coriander Joe. Yeah. We were talking about the NASDAQ, and it's down 3,600 points. And I wonder why. Maybe
economy's in the dumper. You know, it's the worst the worst drop in 5 years. This is serious stuff, actually, from an economy point of view.
Oh yeah, even Ted Cruz here is getting into it. Some of his loyal lackeys are wavering after the tariff turmoil, and of course with Trump putting the tariffs on the Antarctica.
I like that image.
Yeah, this one's better. So they threaten to send more fentanyl to the U.S. after new tariffs. So
they're such cute guys.
they definitely is.
And they wear suits after all.
Do. And maybe I could turn it over to you and we could talk a little bit about this, Anne, if you don't mind.
Well, not at all. I put up a thing on Coast that essentially they chose all of the tariff targets from an internet list. They essentially looked at the top domain codes and managed to choose all of they had a little equation. Essentially, it was comparing the deficit against their position, and the choice of the initial set of correlations was from internet addresses and the extensions on them. So that's why they wound up with the Penguins. They wound up with a place that, for some reason, has a internet extension, but there are no people. There are just no people there. The only things there are penguins. And so they assigned a tariff number to a place where there's no people. So it's quite interesting. Although, with all due respect, the .tv domain is which is used in a lot of addresses and has been used. And there's a whole long story about how that was used in terms of domain squatting and a bunch of other crazy things. It seems much more ubiquitous, but the fact is the little island has maybe less than 5,000 people on it. And no penguins, though. But it shows that the adults who made the decisions about selecting countries for tariffs was sort of arbitrary and, in fact, capricious when you put the penguin thing up against it. And I'm just surprised that the mainstream media is not making a bigger deal about the penguins. I mean, Rachel Maddow did, I think. But, it should have been a cross-platform thing. The Fox News people should have used it for something, but they didn't. So it's pretty typical how terrible the media coverage of this is, although the rest of the internet is having a very good time with penguins. And
right.
You're referencing the McDonald and Heard Islands getting the tariff?
Yeah.
Applied to them, even though they have no population?
Well, it's a list. Let's just put it that way.
Sorry.
Although in the case of the island, what's it, Saint Pierre? Speaking of Canada, it's the one.
It's owned by France.
Saint Pierre, the sovereign little island that's off Nova Scotia, wherever the hell it is.
Yeah, it's north of Maine.
Yeah, and because
Miquelon, Saint Pierre.
I think they brought in lobsters, and so the lobsters crop or whatever catch that they brought in qualifies them for some sort of tariff charge, and it's just such a minuscule amount. But in fact, they're part of the tariff thing, whatever.
Right.
It's just ludicrous.
Well, it is, especially even Russia, no tariffs, and there's
Russia, no tariffs at all.
500 let me get this right, 550 million USA exports and 3 billion Russian imports, and
Something
they've
like
got
that.
I mean, that's by his math, they should be, I don't know, 100% tariffs.
Well, it should be hot. There should have been at least a token one, because then that will get him away from the critique, the obvious critique. And on the same day, he lifts the sanction on one of Putin's friend's wife.
Yes.
It's pretty ridiculous. And the mainstream media is not making a deal out of this when it should have happened. Harsh asks the question of whether she was hot or not. Well, I think she is. If you look a picture up, she looks just like whatever her Elena Haba. She resembles Gesundheit.
It's not that plutonium in her purse, is it?
No.
Okay.
I think she laundered some money or something or whatever.
Yeah.
But the point is that however thick-headed the White House is, they do things sort of ass backwards and sometimes simultaneously, which I find quite amusing. And then of course this week has been filled with trial balloons. For example, after the defeat in Wisconsin, there was a trial balloon that Musk might be kicked off the team.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's not true.
No.
Although he should be, and last week I suggested he be made the UN ambassador, because that would keep him out of trouble or put him in some different kind of trouble.
Good trouble.
Yes, good trouble.
Now, did I mishear the news that Musk stepped down from those, but will remain friends with Trump, as assured by Vance, or was that an April Fool's joke?
I think it's an April Fool's joke, and there are some trial balloons floating around. I think they're gonna be quiet about Musk since he screwed up so badly in Wisconsin. I mean, 57 to 43%, I think is a clear loss. There's nothing close about it.
Yeah, you got that right. I don't think it's a blue wave, though.
No,
You got the judge, but you lost the 2 congressional seats in Florida.
that's right. That's
Though
right.
they were
Although,
closer than usual.
well, the
right?
spin on it is that certain counties or whatever within the district went for Democrats in a greater number. So it looks like a negative trend in that sense, or a positive trend for Democrats. The first time, one of them's Joe Scarborough's old district, and so they're saying that's very encouraging for the midterms. Well, yes and no. I think we only claim for a blue wave. Really, we can talk about it, but I think the only time you really can score it is after it's done. I'm going to assume you have other kinds of illicit seafood in there, Joe, like whale and stuff like that. Like, what's that? Is that tuna?
These are a variety of pickled objects.
Oh, so pickled beets then.
That's a big beet.
Somewhere, I don't know what that is, actually.
That's a potato.
Turnip. Big effing turnip.
Different types of kimchi and banchan. Fresh kimchi, white kimchi, red kimchi, pickled cucumbers. Beautiful. Oh, pickled lotus fruit.
I'm hungry again, damn it. Oh.
Thank you. Fresh tofu.
Why doesn't Trump make
You missed the sea squirts and octopus back there.
Ooh.
Cool.
South Korea could become the 51st state. That would be cool.
Well, they've talked about it enough. I mean, or the Philippines. There have been discussions about these matters before.
They're up there in competition with Israel.
There we go.
Right. So
I don't know. It
where
seems
were we?
Canadians have been doing good stuff. I guess you have your own Canada's Not for Sale oppositional hats, and are they selling well?
They are selling very well, and the elbows up hats or shirts and stuff are selling well. Even Danielle Smith has started to be quiet in Alberta, the premier, who's Trump friendly, and Carney's doing not a bad job. Our federal elections coming up here, it's still a 50-50 split between the Conservatives and the Liberals. So we don't know what's going to happen. The NDP is falling, though. In my riding, I believe the NDP guy will probably make it. As long as it's not a vote for the Conservative guy, I think NDP will win in those types of ridings.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
No, he's been there for a while, right?
Yeah. Yes, he has. Yes, and there's talk about him stepping down.
Donut alert! Emergency!
Fried bread, yum. Yeah, fried bread.
Donut twists. Two.
What's Korean for two, Joe?
Good question. What about sugar? Yes. Sugar.
Yeah. Throw that sugar on those donuts.
Donuts in every culture. I'm a big fan of the fried bread of every culture. There's a lot to be said for fried bread.
1,000. 2,000.
Oh, that weird currency, man.
That's a lot of one.
Yeah. It's a lot of numbers there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yummy.
Yeah, looks good.
Fried bread. Yum.
Nice and warm.
Some sugar.
Oh, man. No, I'm hungry again.
Oh,
yeah.
Crunchy, crispy, sugary, chewy.
There's breakfast.
Goodness
yeah. Carbs.
Huh. Oh, my heart's seizing up. I almost feel like I'm back in Ohio.
And I'm sure there's no animal fats in those oils.
Oh yeah, there we go.
That might be lard I'm tasting.
Yep, there you go.
Well,
Or
it's worth it,
that's
Joe.
Mm.
All right, hardening the arteries. Yeah, the American the American economy is pretty much screwed because if we're at the same level of sort of uncertainty that we had during COVID, it's and we don't even have a pandemic, so it makes the markets skitterish. It makes people suggest that you go. What Mark Cuban suggested that we go to our big box stores and buy stuff that we need
Here comes
before
the
the
toilet
prices
paper
go up.
war again.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. You know,
Right.
I'm figuring what $2
Install
a
your
roll.
bidets, people.
Yeah, $2 a roll toilet paper's coming.
So there was some surprise that Trump went a little light on Canada and Mexico, 10%, except for automobiles, which are at 25% tariffs. Canada slapped on a reciprocal tariff. And Carney's saying the monies that comes from the tariff is going to be used to support the workers. And the plants here in Canada have signified that they're going to build Canadian cars.
There we
So
go.
they're not going to move their equipment. There is one shop, auto parts manufacturer, that was trying to move tools and dies to America to stamp out the parts. And there was a big picket line happened, and they unloaded the truck. One truck got through, though,
There you go.
to America. And I'm reminded of U.S. Steel pre-COVID. They had bought Stelco, a plant, and then they moved all the equipment from the Stelco plant into America.
There we go.
And I've never been a fan of the NAFTA stuff. I think it's hurt workers.
Yes,
But
it did.
it is the system we do have now, right? And
Yes.
with the tariffs, geez, willikers. Do you think Trump actually has a plan, Ann? I
No,
guess that's
he has no plan.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that he proposed a tariff and then backed off of it before it started. Oops, we're back to donuts again.
I talked to him. Oh, sorry. I'll turn off my mic. Just being joined for a smoke with
join for a smoke. Is that what he said?
Are you smoking?
Oh, well, he's got a friend, and he's in.
There we go.
In Korea.
he's asking if I want to drink or smoke.
Oh, well, both, Joe. Don't be impolite.
Indeed.
Senior Brainwash, his birthday is today, and he's in Korea as well right now.
Ah, happy birthday to him. Yes.
Right. And actually, while we're giving out celebrations, we did bring it up, but Andy Brown and Sarah have had a baby.
Yes.
And,
healthy, I'm sure. Any other details?
Healthy and big and puffy.
Oh,
there we go. Well, you know, it's those upper Midwest folks.
Well, it's the Viking in them, right?
Yeah, yeah. Hardy children. Hardy children.
That's right. Well,
hey, we're rather svelte up north here, Walter.
Okay. Svelte. Yeah. So there's some rumor that Trump's tariffs were AI generated. And
no, that's how they chose. I fully believe that's how they chose the list. I mean, the top of the list is pretty obvious, but that bottom of the list, you know, what with bizarre little islands that have no immediate product that they don't really trade. They just make stuff for their own subsistence. And their only product is, for example, internet addresses. That's really not something you can tariff on, although you could, but it'd be sort of this weird Baroque version of what counts as a tariff.
Right. And since he hates California so much, how come he didn't put a tariff on California?
Well, that's going to come in another way, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's other constraints that'll occur, and it'll be stupid. It'll just be stupid, because California will tell them to pound sand, and which is what they should do. particularly because California does a lot of bilateral trade with the rest of the Pacific Rim. So there's just other things that are going to happen in the California economy, considering it's the sixth largest. It is
Yeah, in the
equivalent
world.
to the sixth largest economy in the world. So
Right.
the hell with it.
Fourth or fifth, actually.
Well, there you go. I say that, of course, it's a native.
That was California John.
Yes, indeed. So we're at really weird places. I mean, we're 60% closer. JP Morgan has said there's a 60% higher chance, up from 40%, of a recession. And we're still not there yet, technically, on a technical level, but it looks bad, and we'll have to see how it shakes out with the response, the global response, which obviously has been a little weird. But, there's still other things to happen. There's currency issues, there's other investment issues, there's, problems with certain types of national stock markets, et cetera. So, and also treasuries, bonds and stuff. There's a lot of moving parts.
Right. And Trump came out with a video that people found amazing. I think it was on Truth Social about tanking the economy. Said he was going to do it.
Yes, he reposted something that he deliberately tanked the economy, which is very typically Trump. In other words, projections are confessions, or confessions are projections.
I wanted to do
Trump.
this. Yeah.
I mean, he just, he may have wanted to do it. He is only the third president to try to make a tariff-driven policy, and we know what happened. At least, well, there was a panic after the first one. There's clearly a panic after the second one that helped give us ultimately gave us the Depression. So we don't know which history he's reading. Of course, he doesn't read, so therefore that answers that question, asked and answered. We are in big trouble.
I have an international related question. What Trump is doing, it seems like he's bludgeoning the world economy to remake it. Similar, I guess, to what Nixon did? Was this going off the gold standard?
Well, yes, but that's a long it's a long road to get there. Let's put it that way. But because countries like Russia trade on gold, it's essentially that he's sort of agreeing with or sympathizing with positions like Russia's.
And gold is over 3,000 an ounce now. An ounce? A pound? I forget.
Yeah, he wants to make America into a petrostate again, but we do a lot of other things besides make fossil fuel, and so he wants to return America to a as it were pre-modern kind of position like Saudi Arabia or Russia or whatever, where it's sort of we're more resource driven in that way rather than on what is really important. And what we have done is in certain types of services and high tech stuff. And particularly on the case of innovation and healthcare, he's just killed off an entire, portion of the national research sector.
Yeah.
And 90,000.
And the idea, of course, the idea is, let me finish. And the idea, of course, is to shift it all to the private sector, but that's just a long way off.
Well, now he's talking about 90,000 veterans being let go.
God.
Out of the Army, soldiers.
Yeah.
So I got two quick questions here. One is you're going back to the second time they tried the tariffs. That was the Hartley-Taft Act, right?
No, Smoot-Hawley.
Smoot-Hawley, sorry, my bad. Yeah, Smoot-Hawley. And even after when Roosevelt, he tried to undo everything, we're still in a depression. And then it's theorized that the war took everybody out of depression, right?
Well, that's part of it. It was pretty clear by the time that fascism comes in 1933 that there's a shifting to what Roosevelt was doing is creating more fiscal spending. That is in things like, yes, we can call them welfare policy, but in fact, and it is not that different from what Hitler did. is putting people to work, is
Yeah.
creating government programs to employ people, to create incomes and, wages, etc. And yes, on the one hand, it's a form of welfare. On the other hand, it shifts the entire economy. It shows the power of the state to do that kind of activity, which is a good thing. Just in terms of saving, otherwise it would have been even worse, I suppose.
Yeah. And well, that's the thing. If
Yeah.
the world goes back into a depression and stuff, is it going to take the Third World War to get everybody out? That's where I was leading.
Oh, yes,
Most
that could
certainly hope
that
not.
could
my
happen.
follow-up question. I had a follow-up question regarding this kind of devastation that they're taking to the administrative state will have knock-on effects globally. So
Yes.
During Nixon's time, they did something like this from my understanding, to ensure U.S. global economic hegemony.
Yes.
Is what Trump's doing, trying to do that, because the world outside the U.S. took a harder hit at that time, and maybe they're thinking something like the shock now will basically knock the rest of the world's developing economies down a couple pegs, and then
No, I think you're going to get just different.
reinvigorate the U.S. or something.
No, you're just going to have a different position. U.S. will have a different position. As Susanna pointed out in the chat, he is blowing up globalization. So the players are going to change. There will be globalization will continue. It's just that America loses its sort of place in globalization. And, if you're just thinking of the health of the American economy, it's, it's like you got punched in the stomach or something. It is, there's no reason to do it. I mean, the Biden policy is totally opposite in the sense that they tried to, retain certain globalized elements and yet still co-opt the kind of right-wing position that, well, more chaos is going to create ultimately more markets and more blah, blah, blah. But, it'll do that, but do it in a chaotic fashion. And certain elements are going to make more money. Destabilizing the reserve currency, that is the U.S. reserve currency of the dollar, actually helps people who have money elsewhere as well. So there's a lot of people are going to get something out of this, but Americans are going to get caught short on this.
If you have money right now, you can buy things cheap, right? And here we go, consolidation.
Just a little pause. I'm down a little back alley of the market, and there's a little traditional housing here that you can see. The roofing tiles, I'm not sure if it's very visible. It's a lotus that was brought during when Buddhism arrived to Korea. They started using the ends of the roof tiles as the lotus symbol. Sure it's visible.
Wow. I think going back to Joe's point about what Nixon did at the time, you had like Vietnam, even China, they weren't really industrialized or as progressive in their scientific community. And now it's different. A lot of countries have their own industry or and their scientific community to make these chips and stuff, right? So.
I think there was some prescience in seeing that there was going to be growth in China, new markets. There was party shifts in the Communist Party, etc. Aside from the usual propaganda, but all of those things happened all at the same time. Nixon was prescient in that sense, that he saw that there was something ahead, and as a lever against Russia in that context. Nixon was never, never not with the double negative, an anti-communist. So, there was a certain globalized argument. Thank you, Henry Kissinger, and that's kind of where it went. And the Vietnam War, kind of the later part of the Vietnam War, signified that.
Yeah. Well, he dragged China into the world's economy, and that was a bit of a relief valve for future wars, right? Because the Korean War, the Korean War was still fresh in people's minds too at the time.
Well, it's still on technically.
Yeah, that's true.
It hasn't ended.
It is true. And here's my question now. The oppositional difference between America and Korea. Korea said, let's impeach our president, and they did. Actually, Brazil did too, right? Or put Bolsonaro into jail. The failure of, the Democrat government at the time to actually get Trump into court and to get some of those lackeys into court have brought you to where we are now.
Yes. And that's not unlike, and with all due respect, I assume there's somebody working on this, making a direct comparison to certain types of third world governments, that is control of the judicial system, etc., to get us to where we are now.
Right. No, that's true. Can we switch over to Ukraine now for a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Or do we got time? A couple of minutes. So from what I've been reading and understanding is Ukraine is holding fast against Russia, and they've done a big conscription, 160,000 people, and some of them out of Moscow too. They went into gyms to get these guys and delivery drivers.
Well, they've still got a list, ostensibly, I think the business, though, is that it's not only conscription, but it is, of course, the with all due respect, a kind of Soviet negotiating position where Putin is not going to let down on any of his kind of demands, even though they're all unreasonable. I mean, they're all clearly unreasonable, and all he's doing is trying to get Trump to essentially kowtow at whatever place. So, for example, in terms of the Ramstein meeting, it's in Germany at the big air base, for all of the different defense secretaries from all the different NATO nations, our particular what's his name with the tattoos isn't going.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah, Pistol Pete Hegseth isn't going to that meeting, whereas we know that these Ramstein meetings were actually pretty important for Zelensky to sort of reinforce, put the pressure on for getting more equipment and whatever.
Whiskey Pete.
These were important meetings in terms of figuring out and letting other people know what the strategy was, however good or bad it was. So that's kind of happening.
Yeah, every time I look at him, I'm reminded of the old Brill Cream commercials. I don't know if you remember those. With his hair. Harsh says his nickname's Whiskey Pete, so that's a pretty good nickname.
Whiskey Leaks. Whiskey Leaks. Yeah, it's just a joke. It's such an incredible joke. They've been really trying to get past Signalgate, but I think we're going to have more Signalgate at some moment. Something stupid has to happen, and I think more people are on the position of these bozos just cannot get this right. I mean, this tariff thing, they could have lopped off the bottom 20 names and looked really good at it, but now they've got penguins, so it's just stupid.
Yeah, it's true. Why was the Treasury Secretary on that Signalgate chat? I mean, that has nothing to do with, he's got nothing to do with the war except financing it.
Well, it's sanctions. Treasury people, the Treasury executes the sanctions. So Russian oligarchs, get their pass from the Treasury. So, like with Oleg Deripaska, the guy who had he has his townhouse. He owns the townhouse that's next to or on the same block as Ivanka or something. Whatever. There's a big overlap between Trump and Deripaska, the same guy, of course, who wanted the aluminum mill in Kentucky until people started pointing out that this was a whole thing for Mitch McConnell. So it was just
right.
But he got a pass from the Treasury. I mean, during a time when there was clearly there was no reason to lift the sanction on this guy. And at the same time, of course, and I think this was some intelligence agency at work, this was the time when Deripaska's mistress did a whole thing. This was the late Navalny did an
It's okay.
expose on her tapes that she made with Oleg Deripaska on their influence on on Trump specifically, and so that happened.
Yeah, that happened.
I apologize for the noise interruption.
It's okay.
I'm in front of a gimbap maker. Gimbap is the Korean version of Japanese maki roll.
Oh yes.
They come in various sizes. Normally they're about this big, but the other ones are thumb size, and they're filled with pickles, shredded carrot, shiso leaf, paria leaf, spam, egg, all kinds of things. They're like quick sandwich. Unlike the Japanese, they put some glaze on, which I'm not sure what the glaze is, and it gives it the sheen. So you don't have the crispness, but it's quite a special.
Excellent. So they're still putting it together for you?
Loads of sausages.
Oh yeah, there we go.
No, he's doing mass quantities. They've got a huge huge table full of rice that's cooling, and they're packaging up for restaurants and whatnot all around the city.
Excellent. Yes.
And we've got this is Tripe Street. A lot of intestines on the street.
Tripe Street.
Out of Pig's Head earlier in this.
Cool. Awful. Yes.
So many intestines.
Awful.
Go try the head cheese, Joe.
That's
right.
Damn, I'm hungry.
Okay, I got one video from Anna if you want. It's a minute.
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. And this is her talking about Trump doesn't know what he's doing, and no, Trump doesn't want peace. So 2 seconds here. We'll get her on. Should have been ready to go. Walter, come on now.
Hello guys, if you want to survive this very turbulent times, big wars and conflicts around the world, here is my best advice. Please be realistic. Do not think that Donald Trump knows what he is doing or that Vladimir Putin wants peace. The answer is no to both of these statements. And the only working peace plan is being implemented right now by the Ukrainian armed forces that destroyed another Russian column yesterday on Pokrovsk direction. 12 different vehicles, starting from tanks and BMPs and finishing with armored Kamaz trucks and even golf carts. The only way to end this war is to defeat and demilitarize Russia. That is reality. Share and subscribe. Hello guys, if you want.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of that. The video, I don't know if you've seen the video of that. The video is really pretty cool.
Oh, the destruction?
Yeah, the Russians sent down an armored column, and the Ukrainians just picked them off one by one. It's a pretty devastating looking an assault. They brought it forward, and they just hit everything in the column. In a row. It was pretty well executed.
Oh, I hear you.
Thanks, Anna. It's just there's several tapes of it, and it's getting a little coverage.
Right.
It's better than watching penguins or something. I don't know.
All right, we got a couple of minutes left. How about the calendar?
Oh yes. Well, I always keep calling it Night Terror. It's Night Gallery. John, if you're here, can you give us a sense of what's happening tonight at 8:30?
So this is the second segment in the made-for-television movie, which served as a pilot for the television series Night Gallery, which is Rod Serling's follow-up to Twilight Zone. And tonight's episode stars Joan Crawford and a segment directed by Steven Spielberg.
Cool.
And
Okay, that's a creepy one.
Yeah.
It's actually really
combo.
creepy.
That's a combo.
What else you got on the go there, boys and girls? Susanna probably has something.
I
Yeah?
believe Hench had something.
I'm not Hench,
Susanna
I'm
has a Saturday
Susanna.
night.
Susanna is
Theater.
showing something tomorrow afternoon.
I'm showing, yeah, thank you. I'm
Evening.
showing something at 7 p.m. Eastern Saturday. And it is Good Night and Good Luck.
That's a
2005
good one.
film.
Excellent
And
film.
it is about the 1954 face-off between Senator Joe McCarthy and CBS broadcast journalist Edward R. Murrow.
Good luck and good
Join me.
night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Night and good luck.
What time is that tomorrow? Or are you showing that?
At 7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern.
Thank
I
you.
think
Okay.
that's-
If John's still there, you can tell us about Star Trek on Sunday at 5.
Yeah, so Star Trek on Saturday. It's an episode called When the Bow Breaks
Sunday.
on Sunday. Sunday at 5:00. Yep. Star Trek The Next Generation called When the Bow Breaks. It takes advantage of the fact that the Enterprise is a ship that contains families as well as crew.
This is TNG, is it?
Yes.
So this is 24th century childcare, right?
Yes. Yes. It gets a little messy because of the planet that they visit. But
Yes, indeed.
And
I
have a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Interruption. A couple other programming notes. Henchman 21 has a last minute schedule for After the Twilight Zone this evening. He wants to show Willow tonight in tribute to Val Kilmer.
All right.
Join for a Val Kilmer tribute screening of the 1988 Ron Howard, George Lucas, and James Horner team up of Willow, Journey to the Far Corners of Your Imagination. Oh, I think he's got some chat dippity here. Journey to the far corners of your imagination, to a land of myth and magic where dream and reality live side by side, to a place that never existed, a time never was. It is a world where a young man named Willow lives out an adventure that explodes beyond the boundaries of his own hopes and fears.
Cool.
It is.
That
It
should be
is
later
the
this
film
evening.
where this is the film where Kilmer meets his wife. Is also on the bill, right? Isn't that what it is?
Maybe. I'll show
Oh,
Anne a
first-
penguin
Yes,
one more
it
time.
is.
There's the penguin, Anne. That's for you,
Thank you very
And-
much.
so you know.
And I've got an updated now that I'm back to the world and no longer deathly ill. And to boot, I'm 2 hours ahead. I'm at a decent hour now. If I wake up properly, I can give the people a stroll of our little travels in Korea here. So,
Cool.
provided I wake up early enough, it's 8 o'clock or so your time. So if I'm out and about doing something, I'll go on live stream on Zoom and have some interesting things to show.
Indeed. I just like these kind of markets because
Yeah,
you can
I
get
gotta
pretty
use up
much
the-
anything you want.
It's unlimited mobile data.
Yes.
Anything.
Okay, so all we need is probably James to cue up the outro.
Outro, yes. James, let me thank Walter for helping us out with this.
Oh, I enjoy this so
stuff
much.
here.
Oh, there's so much of it, eh?
Oh man,
Yeah.
this is quite a world we're in at the present moment.
Oh, it is. And I tried to keep quiet about Canadian stuff because you guys were probably getting bored.
No, we read Canadian stuff every day because it's it reminds us how screwed up we're getting.
Well, we're getting a lot of well, according to on Canadian Reddit, there's American doctors searching to see if they can come up here.
Oh yeah, there has been that. Three academics from Yale all bailed at the same time, particularly Timothy Snyder.
Yeah,
Timothy Snyder.
Oh, Snyder did as well.
Yeah, well, he had that
bailed to
going
Toronto.
before, and he's had a tenure over in Britain to it for a while, and he was coming to Canada. I think he just escalated the timing.
Well, for good reason. Clearly, there was probably some pressure against him, considering Yale is being very weird. They essentially, I think, they kicked somebody off who was a visitor from, I can't remember which university, but from a Canadian university. She was a fellow at Yale, but because she had some Palestinian overlap, she's gone from there. And that was sort of interesting. It's typically academic. Took them 3 weeks to figure out how to fire her. But anyway, so that's happening. And
Timothy Snyder just has to remove that "Don't surrender in advance" tattoo before he tries crossing the border.
Well, I think the Canadians will let him in there.
Well, we're making gift bags right now.
In that one.
We may not let him out.
We're making gift bags if the American soldiers come up.
Yeah, there we go.
So you can some chocolate in there.
Obeying traffic signals.
Lindt chocolate is from Britain now, not from America, is where Canada's getting it. So you get some good chocolate up here now.
Oh, that's for another show.
Okay, James.
Let me, we're gonna we'll do better next week. Let me thank everyone who's chimed in, especially Joe and his wandering flaneur style through the streets of Seoul.
Korean Joe from Korea.
Joe Korea, yeah.
Right.
Soon to be Japan.
Thanks, everybody.
Hit it.
Over and out.
I know.
Good evening.